Hey, everybody. Guess what? We are live this morning. I got City of Brentwood. I've got everybody here with me. I'm so excited. I've got Deanna Lambert. I've got Todd Hoppenstead. Is that say
Very
that right?
good. Yeah.
Director of Public Works. I've got Officer Kirkpatrick. We're going to give you a live view of what's happening here in Brentwood. First, can I just say thank you as resident of Brentwood? Thank you for taking care of us, keeping everything going so that those who need to get out can get out. I'm staying at home. But tell us, Officer Kirkpatrick, you're in the car. You are not driving, just to let everybody know. You have a driver. We're doing this safely. Hello. But tell us what the roads look like right now.
Well, some of the main streets like Franklin Road they're getting better. The public works guys are doing a great job, just working hard and clearing them off as well as possible. But they're still pretty dangerous. The side streets, like this is East Park, and you can tell how East Park right now is just covered with snow, and it's just makes it very dangerous and very tricky when you're out in it. And so the roads are by no means clear, and but the guys are working hard and doing a great job and trying to make them safe for fire and EMS and the police to get out and to help people. That's obviously the main priority is just getting the roads clear for fire and EMS and police, and then for those that just have to get out.
Right. How do they compare from yesterday? I've heard worse, but
no, I'd say they're a lot better from yesterday to today, a whole lot better. The guys have been, like I said, the public works guys, and Todd can talk to this more than I can, obviously, but they've been working around the clock, and they've been going since Wednesday night, right, Todd?
Yeah, 6 p.m. Wednesday night, we went into shift work, 2 12-hour shifts, kind of skeletonizing our crew and putting half of them on days, half of them on nights. One of the challenges, Donna, is we were keeping up. We made great progress. And then yesterday around lunchtime, we got some freezing rain. Thankfully came in the form of sleet, so it doesn't cling to the trees and the power lines as badly. Hadn't caused some of those, ancillary issues. But it's very heavier than snow, hard to deal with when it comes to plowing. So it was a bit of a setback for us because we had many of our roads cleared and kind of starting back at the top. But as of this morning, all the main routes in Brentwood have been scraped. Secondaries were scraped overnight last night. We're working on some of the collector streets now. But as I've explained, I find myself explaining a lot lately. It's beyond the city's policy for us to plow all neighborhood streets.
That was my next question, because everybody's asking us, are you coming to my neighborhood?
Yeah, well, we're doing the best we can. Our goal really is, as Officer Kirkpatrick was explaining, is to have a clear street within no more than 2 or 3 blocks from every home in Brentwood. We simply don't have the equipment, the infrastructure, or the staff to get to every street. We have about 475 lane miles of road in Brentwood that we're responsible for. And we also take care of the state routes that run through Brentwood as part of an agreement with TDOT. So it spreads us pretty thin. We start with the main roads to give kind of that spider web of access throughout the community. The priority is always police, fire, and EMS so that they can respond to emergency calls. And then those people that are first responders, healthcare workers that need to get out. So we're working on some of those other streets. And I hope by the end of today, or if not, it will be the overnight crew tonight that finishes up some of those collector roads. Unfortunately, I think that's about as optimistic as I can be about our coverage, because the forecast is for some more snow, which means we're going to start back at the top again. And it's never really been the city's intent to plow and treat every street. Right now, the temperatures are such that salt by itself is not effective. So you won't see our trucks salting much. You'll see that kind of residual snow on the road. That actually will give you some traction better than icy conditions. But we're still encouraging people to stay home unless you absolutely have to go out. Conditions are treacherous.
Yeah. I'm looking at the forecast. Tomorrow it looks like it's going to get a little bit or at freezing. Will that help the road conditions at all for people who need to get out?
Yeah, I think tonight we're going to see some really cold temperatures again, if I'm not mistaken. And then we start to kind of turn a corner. Once we get above about 20 degrees, you'll start to see us salting a bit more. We were salting on the front end of this storm. If you were out early Saturday morning, we had freezing fog. We were out salting. Sunday morning when the ice started moving in, we were out salting. Spread about 200 tons of salt during those 2 days. We've stopped now just because of the temperatures, but once we get back above about 20 degrees and we can expect to stay there for a little while, we'll salt. You might see those temperatures in the evening. Unlikely we're going to put that salt down because it's just going to refreeze overnight. But we're watching that very closely and we're ready to respond.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate that. Officer, how many calls have you responded to during this with people maybe getting stuck? Or I had some friends who had a little sledding accident, but how many calls have you been responding to in the last few days?
Well, I don't know the exact number of calls we responded to, but it's periodic as we go through the day, people getting stuck. And a lot of it is the officers that are out patrolling and they're seeing things and they're finding people stuck and then just, getting out and immediately helping people and getting them unstuck. I know this morning several of the officers have seen 4-wheel drive trucks, rear-wheel drive cars that are stuck. So it doesn't matter what vehicle they're in. A lot of people are just getting stuck regardless of what kind of vehicle they're in. So, not knowing a call number exactly, but we've had quite a few and enough to keep us busy and keep us out and about.
Yeah. What should people do if they find themselves in a situation, if they had to be out and they do find themselves stuck?
Well, I think the key thing you said there is have to be out. So my thing is if you don't have to be out in this, stay home. That is the first word of advice, because as Todd alluded, the temperatures are still going to get bad, and people, they see those salt trucks and the public works guys out working, and they get into this conception that the roads are safer and that they can get out. And however, they are a little bit safer. But tonight, if it freezes over and you get out in this and you hit black ice, I don't care how good of a driver you are, you're not going to be able to drive on ice. And so again, the first thing I would say is just, if you don't have to be out, don't be out. Now, if you do have to be out in this, then you need to be prepared. You need to, if you're going into work, don't wear tennis shoes. Change into your tennis shoes when you get there. Have some boots. Have an extra coat. Have a blanket. Have a bottle of water. Whatever the case may be, just be prepared. Don't be naive and thinking that it won't be you, because most of the time when you start thinking that way, it ends up being you, and then you're calling us, and we want to get there and get there as quickly as we can and help, but just be prepared.
Can I add to that?
Yes, please.
If you've got to be out, maybe call ahead. We're seeing that many of the retailers, restaurants, things are closed. They didn't have their employees come in either. Some of the grocery stores are open, but the hours are limited. Gas stations are having trouble getting gas because the fuel tanker trucks aren't traveling right now. So it might be best to call ahead. Wherever it is you think you need to go, you just double check that destination is open and functional. I've heard from people that have their second COVID vaccine scheduled. The county's not currently got any clinics open from what I understand. So that's unlikely the case for people today or tomorrow, or medical appointments, critical medical appointments, they're probably being postponed. So call ahead, save yourself the trouble.
Yes, we've been trying to keep an updated list of all the things that are closed, which is growing. And so we are trying to keep that updated. Hey, Deanna, are the parks open? Because I've heard some people say they live close to park and would like to go visit the park. Are those open right now?
Yeah, that's correct. All Brentwood parks are not open today. So for example, at Crockett Park, there's a gate there for people who drive in, and you cannot access the parks through the parking lots. So all Brentwood parks are closed today. We will be making a decision about tomorrow, obviously later in the afternoon. The Brentwood Library is also closed today, just for the safety of patrons and also our staff who would have to come in. But there are many resources on our website at brentwoodtn.gov. Library resources. City Hall offices are open, but there are very limited employees there. So we do ask that you do any city business on our website as well, or you can make a phone call and talk with them if you'd like. Much safer option for the next couple of days.
Okay. Hey, thanks you guys for joining me, giving us a little update. Do we have any final words to let people know if they need an emergency? All the emergency lines are still open. Is that correct?
Correct. 911 is always an option.
All right. Thank you, guys. I know you've got a lot of work and you're working really hard for us. We really appreciate it. We have a couple messages that came in and said thanks for all you do and keeping our roads safe. So it's much appreciated.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We
one of
appreciate you.
the things that I would just add is just, one of the things we talked about earlier is people getting out and playing in the snow and having a good time, which is great. But do us a favor and don't play in the roads. I know that sounds silly. Don't play in the road. But it's tempting for kids to get out and sled in the roads and everything else. And if a car comes through, then and they can't stop, like it's a normal conditions, and it could be very, very bad. And obviously, none of us want that to happen. So we're just encouraging people to play in the snow, but don't play in the road in the snow.
Yes, I want another public works from another city put that out to not sled down the street as they're trying to help clear the streets, because that can be dangerous for everyone involved. I'm sure that's the same here. All right, thanks everybody. We will see you back soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.